How you guys doing? This is GQ. So today what I want to talk about is masculine energy, feminine energy, the importance of both, how it relates to fitness, and how you can apply those energies to life. And I'm going to start by telling you my story, my personal story about how I got fit and how that happened, why that happened, and what energy I used to get fit in the first place. Now, when I was getting fit, I didn't know I was getting fit. I was literally competing, and this is why I was competing. My cousin came back to stay with me because he was partly raised by my mother in our younger days. He became an adult, moved out, was doing his own thing, ran into a little rough patch of his life, came back to stay with me for a summer. I was in the 9th grade, headed to the 10th grade. At that time, I was very puny, very small. I grew up, born and raised in Compton. I was going to Compton High School, and I knew that with the gang activity that was going on, I needed more presence. I needed to get fitter, because it was a very violent city, long story short, and I knew I needed to protect myself. So, adding some size and strength helps a lot, especially in those days when things was just really rough. I thank God I got through it because a lot of people didn't. But anyway, he came back to stay for the summer, and what he did was he activated a part of me that I didn't know I really had. I knew I had some of it, but I didn't know I had a lot. But he did it in such a subtle way that I didn't realize what was happening to me. What he did was he would challenge me to a checkers game. And he would say, hey, like, if you can beat me in checkers, I'll do 50 push-ups. But if you lose, you got to do 50 push-ups. Now, my cousin, he's very smart because he would choose things that he knew he was better than other people in, so he chose a sport, checkers he was really good at. Needless to say, I lost most of the challenges. So I found myself doing 50 push-ups and, burned out and stuff, and going back and forth and doing those push-ups over and over again. But what he was doing, and I didn't realize what was happening, is he was finding a clever way for me to get more involved intellectually, using my mind, trying to beat him in a thinking sport. But also physically, which is, hey, if you can't do that, then you need to do this as a consequence. And I had to try to hit those 50 push-ups in a row, which was tough. So either way, whether I won the game or lost, I was still growing in some form or fashion, whether it was mentally or physically. And he was challenging me to beat him in not only in checkers, but eventually in physical activity, because the checkers got thrown by the wayside halfway through the summer, and then we just started full-fledged just workouts. So we would have a curl bar, we'll see who can do the most curls, who can do the most push-ups, the most tricep extensions, and he would show me new stuff I never seen before, and I would struggle with it because, the first time you do anything, the muscle groups are not really developed to do that. But what I learned is that through him challenging me throughout the summer and kind of making it like a game where he's like, teasing me to see if I can beat him or, out-muscle him or out-think him. I kind of accidentally got fit because when I came back in the 10th grade year, I hadn't really seen any of my, high school friends or anything like that. So I didn't really get much feedback through the summer. My cousin every now and then would say, yo, you got a little bit bigger and stuff like that, but it was never enough for me to believe that I had gotten significantly fitter. Until I went back to high school, 3 months later to start my 10th grade year. All of a sudden, people were treating me like I was the man. It was like, yo, like, what happened to you? Like, I looked completely different, and I didn't even know what they were talking about because I was just in I remember I had my little button up, and I was signing up for my classes for the upcoming year because I think like a week or two before 10th grade, they have you come down and like sign some paperwork and stuff like that. And just all of my friends that hadn't seen me throughout the summer were like astonished. They just couldn't believe that my body had changed that much. And I looked completely different and didn't know it. So my journey, started from me just becoming fit accidentally through being challenged through someone I respected. My cousin was 10 years older than me. So remind you, while I'm competing with him athletically, I'm competing against an adult that is 10 years older than me. So for me, it was a blessing because to compete against an adult man that's already athletic is an unfair advantage compared to the average kid who's working out with other kids. So came back after that summer, I was super fit, and as I grew older, I was blessed with a couple of other friends that challenged me in a similar way as well. We wasn't playing checkers, but but they showed me things that I couldn't do, and I channeled that same competitive spirit to enter a new level of fitness. And so what I want to discuss today is masculine energy and feminine energy. The first thing I want to address is that everything I just said in my story, he challenged me, he had a competition, it affected my ego. I felt like I had to step up, I had to beat him, I had to step up to the plate. You know, when it came to athletic stuff that he had me doing, I had to find a way to get the movements done because I was trying to prove to him that I could do it. All of these things, you know, proving, you know, accepting a challenge, doing something even when it's difficult. That is channeling your masculine energy. So I'm just gonna write that down. Masculine energy. And I'll write feminine energy down as well because both are extremely important. But for the sake of this topic, as far as fitness is concerned, I wanted to address masculine energy because a lot of the reasons why people fail in a fitness journey is not because they don't want to be fit. Honestly, it's because they don't have enough masculine energy. So attributes and traits of masculine energy is, and I'll put it in one sentence actually. Do good to feel good. Do good to feel good. And my writing is trash, but it's okay because I got abs. Anyway, do good to feel good. This is very important because I'm going to address the difference between masculine and feminine energy. And this is what feminine energy typically, you know, revolves around. Just spin this around, flip this around. Feel good to do good. I hope you guys can see that. Do good to feel good to do good. What does that mean? Exactly what does that mean? I'm going to break it down. With masculine energy, when my cousin was challenging me to do 50 push-ups and curls and all of these things that my physical body didn't really want to do, but my mind said that I have to prove myself to him to win the game, I was in my masculine. Why? Because it didn't matter if I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good doing all of those push-ups and stuff. It didn't feel good at all, and that wasn't really my thing. But I knew that if I could do it and I can beat him, then I would feel good. And so what masculine energy does is it puts emotions aside. It says it doesn't matter how I feel now. What matters is that I get the objective done. I get the action done. And if I get the action done, then I feel good about it. So in other words, we are task driven and we have a duty. There's a mission in front of us. And if we can complete that mission, then we can feel good. But if we don't complete the mission, then we don't feel good. That's masculine energy in its purest form. Granted, every human being has a degree of both. This is not a man or woman debate. Let me make that clear. Every man and woman has a degree of masculine energy and feminine energy. So it's more so about channeling that masculine energy in the right moments for the right parts of your life. And when it comes to fitness specifically, if you channel your masculine energy where you have a mission, there's something that you have to get done in order for you to feel good, i.e. running those 2 miles, getting the 2 miles done under 20 minutes. Making sure that you hit your, lower body workout that you said you was gonna do because you have physique goals or health goals, and making sure it gets done the right way, or else you failed the mission. If you operate in your masculine energy when it comes to fitness, you will win. The problem that we live in with society today, unfortunately, is that most of us live in our feminine energy, meaning that we've been taught through conditioning, through society, through parenting, that you should just do it when you feel good. So in other words, feminine energy is if I feel good, if it's a good day, if I have the perfect amount of energy, if it's super convenient to hit the gym right now because I have all day, if, I just bought some new Nikes and now I feel like going for a run. If I feel good, then I'll do it. And the problem with that in terms of fitness is that fitness doesn't care, when you talk about your physical body, it doesn't care if you feel good. The only thing your body cares about is your track record of consistency with physical activity. And the reason why is because your body doesn't change until it has a consistent, established pattern of activity. So just to break down, how fitness works in general, I'm just summing up really quick. When you work out, you're feeling micro tears in your entire body. Whatever body part that you're working on, you're gonna feel micro tears in that muscle group. And so what happens is, when you go to sleep at night, your body uses, the nutrients you've collected throughout the day, whether it's carbs, fats, protein, and it tries to repair those micro tears. Now, what happens over time is if you keep tearing that muscle over and over again, your body and your mind is recording the fact that this keeps happening over and over again. So what does it do? It goes into what's called survival mode. And it basically says to the body, hey, we need to make this muscle denser. We need to build a little bit more muscle so that the next time they do this activity, it doesn't tear. That way we can stay alive, because I think you're trying to kill me. So if you think about fitness like that, fitness is just a survival simulation. You're pretending that your body is dying through some type of strenuous activity. And because of that, your body natural state of survival, which is it knows how to adapt to situations, it's going to naturally build muscle tissue to protect you. But the benefits of that is you end up having a physique. All of a sudden you got the arms and you got the whole thing. So, but you got to understand it's a survival mechanism, which means you're going to experience pain. You're going to experience your mind saying you're in danger. And that's why a lot of times when you work out, you walk that line between pushing yourself hard and trying not to hurt yourself. And your mind is always going to try to convince you that you're about to hurt yourself, when it may not necessarily be true at all. In fact, most of the time it's not. So going back to the subject, when you channel your masculine energy, and you're focused on not how you feel in the moment, but how you need to feel by getting a task done, then on the days that you wake up and you're a little tired and you're a little sore and your masculinity kick in, guess what? It's gonna be like, yeah, I'm a little tired, I'm a little sore, but I gotta get these miles done. So it has to get done. Now, unfortunately in the feminine, you wake up a little sore, you wake up a little tired, it's not gonna get done, you don't feel good. You don't feel good enough. So we have to channel our masculine energy when it comes to fitness, when it comes to hitting our fitness goals. But masculine energy is not just limited to just getting fit, right? It's a muscle, masculinity in itself is a muscle that you can build through fitness for other areas of your life. So, for example, I've spent the last 30-some years, having days where I didn't necessarily feel like working out, but I was able to push myself to do it anyway. So what happens is you build that equity over time. You're so used to, doing things that you don't necessarily feel like doing, but you need to do, that all of a sudden in other areas of your life, when it's a hard task or something that you don't feel like doing, but you need to do it, it's not that hard to make yourself do it because you do it all the time in the gym. And so what I try to teach my clients is that, this isn't just about getting your summer body. This is about installing a discipline inside of you where you're not doing things based off of emotion. Because if you're only going to do things in your life based off emotion, you're going to be very limited, because we feel a lot of things. We feel tiredness, we feel frustrated, we get angry, we get worried. Those emotions, there's too many different emotions that can cause us not to take certain actions. So what masculinity does is it allows you to override those emotions so that you can get the job done. It's mission oriented. It allows us to do good, to feel good, and we're very challenge based. In other words, we can create a challenge for ourselves that we must overcome because masculine energy is there to help us overcome it. Now, how can I help you in relationships? I think that it's extremely important for both men and women. Even if it's just friendships, romantic or friendship, it doesn't really matter. You have to have a degree of masculine energy, because when you are loving someone, when you say you love someone, that's going to require you to do a lot of things for them that you may not necessarily feel like doing all the time. Just because you love someone doesn't mean you always feel like doing loving things. Let's just be honest. Like, look, I don't feel like folding clothes right now. I love you, but I don't feel like doing it. Guess what masculine energy does? Masculine energy allows you to do it anyway. Hey, I can put my emotions aside because my most dominant emotion actually is that I love you. But right now in this moment, I don't feel like doing it. But because I have masculine energy, I can get it done anyway. And I think that if we use that masculine energy at the right times in relationships for acts of service, for moments where we need to do a physical act or something that requires a little bit of energy that we may not have, I think that could only add more value to the relationship. I think it's a beautiful thing. Now, let's switch to the other side, feminine energy. Now, I know I've been talking a lot of trash about feminine energy. I'm not bashing women. Don't do that. I'm not doing that. What I'm saying is that, first of all, we all have masculine and feminine energy, men and women. We have different percentages, but we all have it and we all need it. And we definitely need feminine energy, because what feminine energy does, even in fitness, and I'm learning now more than ever, feminine energy is, for me in fitness, allows me to activate my self-care part of fitness. Now, when I was younger, let's just say like 23, 24, man, I could run 4 or 5 miles, no problem. I could lift for an hour, hour and a half, no problem. And I'd be a little sore the next day, but then I could do it again and I didn't have to stretch. I didn't have to, take a hot bath. I didn't have to do none of that. I just didn't. I just recovered the next day and I kept going. Well, somewhere in my 30s, that shit changed. And when I tell you, now when I work out hard, it's so much more taxing to recover from the recovery phase, that you have to have a balance of feminine energy. And the best way I can summarize feminine energy outside of feel good to do good is being in touch with the way your body feels, being in touch the way your spirit feels, your emotions, being in touch with how you feel about things. And it's extremely important. Like going to the gym, you need to get the mission done. But there are moments and times when you need to listen to your body. There's moments in time where your body is screaming for self-care, where it's like, hey, you need to stretch. Hey, you need a hot bath. Hey, take a day off because you've done enough. And now I need you to relax. And to be honest, guys, there is a such thing as overtraining. And I think that, having a good balance of masculine and feminine allows you to know that threshold when you know, like, okay, today's the day I need to relax, stretch, reset, and get ready for the next day to work out. So feminine energy allows you to keep in touch with your emotions. It allows you to take self-inventory of how your body feels, what you need emotionally. It helps you articulate what you want from your life. To me, I feel like it's a great communicator with your inner being. When you're meditating, I feel like both are being activated at the same time, but I feel like it's my feminine energy that allows me to have emotional intelligence, that allows me to have empathy, that allows me to collaborate, that allows me to have sympathy and feel what other people feel. And I think if we were just masculine energy, we'd pretty much be a robot. We'd get stuff done, but when people have, issues or need help on an emotional basis, we'd be emotionally unavailable. And so my main topic and my main summary as far as what I'm saying with this is that fitness, it requires you to master both sides of you. I think that the most dominant part for most people that people struggle with is the masculine, which is why I place more emphasis on that. But I think that if you double up on the masculine, where you're just getting it done and you put your emotions aside because it's worth it, you'll find yourself on the other side. And when you get those levels of results, and this happens with all my clients, when you get a certain level of results where it's undeniable, you then become addicted to growing as a human being. When people that I've trained hit the 8-week, 10-week mark, and they've dropped 10, 15 pounds, and they can see what their body's about to do. Now motivation is not so hard to find because you know that those actions that you've been taking count. So masculine just kind of helps you get over that hill. So if I had to draw it, masculine energy kind of gets you up that hill, soreness, exhaustion, maybe not trusting the process, all of those things, and it gets you up that hill. And then right here, you get some results. This is very sloppy, but you know what I'm trying to write. Results. And then to be honest, it's kind of all downhill from there. And what I mean by that is, if anything, we'll put feminine there. Because if anything, right here in this area, when you're getting results, I've had clients that are so driven at that point that they need to listen to their body more, that they need to maybe not do those extra 2-3 miles that they wanted to add on top, and they need to kind of pump the brakes because, again, our bodies are machines, but they can be overworked. And so you do need that balance to know when it's time to take that rest break. It's a give and take system when it comes to the physical body. So I hope this really helped you guys out, maybe gain a deeper understanding of energy and how you can channel these energies to work in your favor and how they can work against you in certain situations. If you guys need fitness programs, if you need fitness consultation, kind of get an understanding of what's a good game plan for you when it comes to workout strategy, nutrition strategy, outlook on life, maybe planning how you're gonna get certain things done so you can hit your goals, hit me up. This is GQ. Company is Secrets to Sexy. Y'all take care. God bless.